Hello again. I'm back with some more Valiant Thor facts. I decided that I wanted to bring it a little step further, or should I say, a little step slower. Because I've noticed that some people just miss out everything that I say, and they just miss the whole point. I seek nothing from this, okay, guys? And you don't see me asking you for anything, and I don't want anything. I don't need anything from you. I'm just asking that you guys listen and have an open mind, okay, and investigate all this yourself, and you can see that Frank Ernest Stranges tried to do the same thing that others before him did, was that he lied about the Venusian guy named Valiant Thor, okay? Anyways, my point to the whole story is this, that when you go to the root of all of it, which I believe Howard Menger's home, okay, is the root of all of it, because as you guys see these pictures online, you see the root, okay, where it all began, correct? Now, if you pay attention to all of that, here are some main points that I want to make. Howard Menger is the host of his UFO alien conference at his home in High Bridge, New Jersey, right? You would think that he, being the host, pay attention, Howard Menger being the host, not anyone else, because obviously that is his home and his wife, Rose, and you would expect him to be speaking about these Venusians from Venus, obviously, a commander called Valiant Thor, with his vice commander Don Thor, his brother, of course, and then Jill, right? Oh, let's not forget Tanya, who, of course, at some points in pictures, moves around because, of course, the photographer wanted to play around, right? Okay. So with that in mind, I want to say this, guys, all right, is that Howard Menger could have easily told the crowd from the 1950s all the way down, okay, guys, until, yes, there was a point where he stopped giving lectures about UFOs and stuff, and he just, like, because he recanted his story, but, of course, people just want to keep on and whatever, and I'm not going to get into all that. My point is that throughout his lectures that he'd been doing, right, not once did he mention anyone by the name of Valiant Thor, who Frank claimed was a commander of a starship called Victor 1 that houses about 200 members, okay? You would think that Howard Menger would talk about that. What I find funny is that this comes from Frank Ernest Strange's mouth himself. All you guys got to do is look around for the stuff that he says or said, and you can see that he lied when he said that Augie-Roberts gave him the photographs, right? Because Howard Menger, listen, Frank says this. He said that Howard Menger told Augie-Roberts, that's August Charles Roberts, the photographer, take a photograph of the Venusians. I'm not going to tell you who they are. You figure out for yourself. And now, of course, that right there don't make sense. But anyways, he took photographs of these people. Boom. Okay, cheap. So now he took this photograph. Now, it's funny because the Venusians that Howard Menger describes, okay, it was two, listen this, and look at this. This is how funny it is. Because you see there's two gentlemen that Frank said, right? It's two guys and then a female, right? Who he said Valiant Thor, Don Thor, and Jill, right? Now pay attention to this one. Look, check it out. Howard Menger said there was three of them. Two men, one woman. But this is the difference. Howard Menger said they had blonde hair, long blonde hair. And he didn't just say it was the woman with the long blonde hair. He said all three of them had long blonde hair. All right? Read the book yourself. You'll see it. Okay? Then he was saying that he, at one point, cut their hair because, of course, they're not, I don't know, it's just some weird stuff that he was talking about their hair and stuff. So he cut their hair. He was like their barber. Check it out in his book. It's called From Outer Space to You. So so you can check it out. And he says that does not matches the description of what Frank said, because obviously who you're gonna believe, Frank Stranges or Howard Menger? When Frank Stranges finished telling us in his book that Howard Menger told Augie-Roberts, take a picture of these Venusians that are within the crowd. See? Now you don't find that contradiction? Oh, but you're getting mad at me because you're saying that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. That's why I say you guys got to pay attention. It's simple as that, guys. All right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that he's using these suggestive methods to reel you in. He manipulates people is what he does. It's what he did. Okay? So anyways, it's funny because you would expect that when this story came out, 1967, but remember, he wrote the book in 1960. That means Frank. Frank wrote the book called My Friend from Beyond Earth, okay? His Friend from Beyond Earth. That was the first book that he was talking about his stranger, right? And then, later on, Stranger at the Pentagon, 1967. Well, it makes you wonder why it took so much for him to come out with another book, but wait till 1967 to do it instead of the following year from 1960. Or why not even tell you about the Stranger in the Pentagon at 1960, right? But he waited 7 years later just to tell you a different story. But anyways, it's okay if you guys don't believe me. That's fine. I just showed y'all right there that Frank contradicted himself with a big lie anyway. So first he said that, that Howard Menger tells Augie-Roberts this, but then years later, before Howard Menger passed away in 2009, when people asked him, did you know Valiant Thor? He said, I wasn't aware that they were Venusians, or that he was a Venusian. So in him saying that, guy, people, listen, in him saying that alone, that should raise a red flag to all of y'all who doubt my videos. Simply because, why would Howard Menger, okay, why would he give that response by saying that? And please don't try to say that it's me that I put that in Howard Menger's mouth. Frank Stranges put words in Howard Menger's mouth. Because if this story of Valiant Thor was real, okay, we would have had 3 people talking about this event. First one would be the host of the conference himself, Howard Menger. Second would be Augie-Roberts, because he is the photographer who did all these pictures, right? He worked for the Saucerian Bulletin from 1953 to 1962. Okay? That's the second person that would have been coming out with books, lectures, interviews, talk about Valiant Thor. He never, not once did that. And he's the man that took the photographs. Howard Menger, same thing. He's the host of his own conference in Highbridge, New Jersey. And not one time, or any interview, or any books, or anything else, did he ever mention anyone by the name of Valiant Thor, who's the commander of a starship, Victor 1, and he stays in Lake Mead, and yada, 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 and all this bullshit. But Frank happened to be the only guy, the first guy to mention the name Valiant Thor. In terms, of course, the Venusian Valiant Thor. In case you guys are wondering, because there is a magazine, that goes way back. It's a comic magazine. And of course, they're using the the Norse god. But they're using it, it was a robot, okay? So, they call him Val Thor with a T-O-R. And that was a long time ago. But anyways, it's common sense. You would think that Howard Menger be the first guy to come forth with that throughout all those years before he decided not to do any more lectures. Okay? Second, Augie-Roberts, because he was the photographer. And remember, he died first, guys, because he died in 1994. But before he died, obviously, remember, Howard died years later, 2009, and then Frank in 2008 before Howard Menger. But what I'm saying is this, guys. While these guys were alive, all three of these guys knew each other. So you figure, if they knew each other, why didn't they do these lectures together about Valiant Thor? Why didn't they mention that? If these people were Howard Menger's guests, right? Like all you people believe, because you read it from Frank's book, Stranger at the Pentagon, and you want to recite it like a Bible, you automatically think that that's fact. Well, but then I showed you a picture of Frank as a young man that clearly is showing you is this gentleman that's sitting down. I mean, but you don't want to believe me, that's fine. I don't care. That's fine. If you want to believe that an advanced being, okay, with a supposed high IQ is going to sit, and that's what I said in another video, and write notes, come on, guys. That just doesn't make no sense to me whatsoever. Because why would you need to write notes if you are a supreme, like you're an advanced being, or your mind, your mentality is more like you would be using maybe 100, maybe more of your brain capacity. Higher than any human can understand on Earth. But yet you're going to sit on a conference, a human conference, mind you, writing notes. No, but then you have people like Paola Harris lying to you guys by telling you that he said something else about God, this and that. That's a lie. Okay, I blew up the picture. You can blow it up yourselves and you see. Even the letter that supposedly Augie-Roberts, okay, wrote to Wendell Stevens. Wendell Stevens was another hoaxer too. He encouraged all those people. Anyways, I have a copy of that supposed letter that Augie-Roberts wrote to Wendell. I don't know if I did this in another video and you guys might have missed it. All right? But the way she said it in her lecture, she was making it sound, you can find that on YouTube, by the way. She was making it sound like Augie-Roberts was talking about Valiant Thor and his Venusian friends. But if you read that letter that Augie-Roberts wrote to Wendell Stevens, December 16, 1985, you'll notice that he did not mention anything with anybody by that name. Or any Venusians for that matter. He was mentioning UFOs. He has a lot of pictures of that. And, and then he's talking about issues that he has. And then something about the death of his friends. And then he's talking about somebody getting punched in the face, in the nose. Then he said he got car problems. And then, I don't know. It's just crazy, guys. That's part of the letter. I didn't actually read it to you, but I was giving you short, small versions of what he was saying. But yeah, you see, that's what I'm telling you guys, right? If you listen closely to everything I'm saying and analyze everything that I've been doing on this story, you can see yourself that this story is a hoax. Okay? Even if you don't believe that Frank is Valiant Thor, the young man sitting there at Howard Menger's conference, okay? Even if you don't believe that's him, which of course I proved that is him. But anyways, the story still don't make no sense. Again, that's why I showed you in my other videos where I showed you Howard Menger said that the Venusians will not interfere in human affairs because it is against their universal law. Then you got Frank saying the opposite. That Valiant Thor wanted to come Earth and help people with health and all that good stuff and make us live longer and all this stuff. And that just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, guys, because if you're putting your supposed belief on the fact that all this started with Howard Menger, then notice the difference. Notice the contradictions, guys. Notice the difference and the contradictions. It's clear as day, okay? Now, I know that it's hard to grasp for you guys out there to be like, well, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Well, look. Look for the facts like I did. Don't sit there judging. Just look. That's my whole thing to tell you guys. So anyways, everything, you can just see that there's too much things that you can tell Frank lied about. Like, for instance, when you see him in a video, when he's describing Valiant Thor's hand, right? When he grabbed Valiant Thor's hand. Now, you'll notice that he has a pinky ring on his right hand. And I'm sure I mentioned this before in my other videos. But if you didn't pay attention, then you probably missed it. Okay? So, that is exactly what he had. A pinky on his right. He had a pinky ring on his right hand. Valiant Thor has a pinky on his right hand. Right? So, now you're going to tell me this. Who took the idea from who? Did Valiant Thor copy him or did he copy Valiant Thor? Huh? What are the odds of that? And I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, guys, but then you have Italians that are known for wearing the pinky rings. You know, the mafia thing and all that. But, I mean, I know people are probably going to get upset or something. And they're going to be like, well, not true, and all this. But listen. I am just trying to show you guys that it is clear as day that the man, who was an old man, who presented a story, a fairy tale, and he converted it into something factual when it was not. And then you have these people, after the fact, helping him with the story, to keep it alive. But it's sad that the main people that has something to do with supposedly this conference, Howard Menger and Augie-Roberts, you don't see those guys backing him up at those times. Not one time again, that's what I'm saying. You guys got to look all these things up. Look for interviews that Augie-Roberts did, okay? Look for interviews that Howard Menger did. And you'll notice, not one time of any of those interviews, did they mention Valiant Thor at all, period. Remember, Augie-Roberts is the photographer, right? And this is a big story because he saw that the guy had no fingerprints. And this is a big story because supposedly this is the High Bridge incident, right? Wrong. This had nothing to do with the High Bridge incident. And I told you guys that before. I'll tell you now and I'll tell you again in my other videos. That the High Bridge incident had nothing to do with anyone by the name of Valiant Thor, or Jill, or Tanya, or Dawn. Okay? Had nothing to do with none of that stuff. It had something to do with these Venusians with long blonde hair, according to how Howard Menger says it in his book. And of course you couldn't see them because I guess they were camera shy, because you see the blurriness and the darkness of the photographs. So you barely can't see anything other than that luminous spaceship with a little model in front of it. Okay? And then it's funny because he's describing the female after with a spacesuit on. He says how pretty she is. Wow. I mean, now you think she's pretty with a spacesuit on. Okay. It just, I don't know, it just don't make sense because, and then this is another thing if you guys want to compare, okay? Compare stories with Howard Menger and Frank. Listen to this, okay? Now, you know the story that how Frank Ernest Stranges it's detailing exactly how these suits that Valiant Thor wore, okay? And his people, right? Couldn't be penetrated or whatever. Then you got Howard Menger, and as you can see from that photo, he's telling you that that person is in a spacesuit. So that spacesuit does not match the one that Frank Stranges said that these Venusians wear. I don't know, man. You guys, you can make up whatever you want about this. You can hate me for this. That's fine. You can criticize me for this. You're not the first one, and you're not the last one, okay? There's plenty of people that say that I'm full of shit. But the truth is, I'm not the one full of shit. You're the dumb one because you're the one buying these books about these stupid fucking guys that are contactees, okay? Yet they don't show you no proof, all right? You're the stupid one when you go to these lectures, okay, to go to these so-called contactees to hear bullshit, all right? It's like going to a magic show. You're going to miss it when the magician does his magic trick. If he's doing a one-on-one where he's like right in front of you, right? And they do card tricks, you know? You got to pay attention because they're quick with their hands. Sometimes when they do these magician tricks, you can see that they want you to watch this hand, but then they're doing something with the other one. Now, if they're in a bigger stage, like I was saying before, if they were in a bigger stage, you can see that they will have, you know, behind the scenes help because ain't nobody in the world do some real magic. Okay, no David Copperfield, nobody. So if you guys gonna sit there and say, well, you're wrong, David Copperfield's real. No, he's not, okay? He uses props just like everyone else. And just like these so-called psychics, all they do is cold read people. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, for me, the fact that you could just, obviously you're going to go to a crowd, a whole bunch of people, and you already know that they're there for you because they have a loss one they've lost. There. But anyways, the more you agree to the things he keep throwing out, or her, you're going to believe, you know, you're going to make them believe more every time they hit. Every time, that's a hit. Every time they agree, it's a hit. But anyways, this is Valiant Thor's story. And that's why I said that Frank is the man behind the curtain. And then, you know, it's funny because that group called Valiant Thor, they have a song called Man Behind the Curtain. I didn't even know that. You know, and I did these videos and stuff when I said that Howard, with Frank Ernest Stranges, for me, Frank would be the, you know, the puppeteer, the man behind the Valiant Thor story, because, of course, he is the one that brought it forth before everyone started hopping aboard on a ship. You know, everybody started hopping aboard. Hey, yeah, I know Valiant Thor. Yeah, I met with him in Venus, and shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. You know? It's just these people that, and then you got other people on YouTube, of course, where you see them saying, oh, I channel with Valiant Thor and I get messages. Are you serious? There's a lot of fucking crazy people in this world, I'm telling you. It's ridiculous, okay? You're not having any communications with Valiant Thor. He's not real. Simple as that. I spoke to Julie Stranges, Frank's wife. Okay, like I told you guys in my video, May 31st. Alright? About 40 minutes we spoke. We spoke about Valiant Thor, of course. That was the main reason I called. And Frank, because I wanted to know, you know, did he have any photographs? Because that was where I was leaning my whole thing towards. Did Frank have any other photographs besides these 1950 photographs he walked around with in all his lectures? Okay? Now remember, he kept saying that he was still in full contact with Valiant Thor. He even became his friend, right? So you would think that he would be able to take countless pictures with the guy. A guy who does not age. Remember what he said? They don't age. Huh? Well, not like us anyways. They live for a long, long time. So he said that he would still look the same. Let's say if 20 years pass or 50 years pass, he still looked like himself. Like right there we're looking at, right? But yet, all he did in his lectures was walk around with the same photographs that Augie-Roberts took, of course, in the 1950s. And that just, it's not enough. It's not enough. But then what his wife says, oh no, Valiant Thor did not allow him to take photographs. But I'm wrong because she says that, right? But then she tells me when I asked her about, is she still in contact with Valiant Thor? You know what she says? Yeah. I still communicate with him. Okay, then can you show me any proof, any photographs or anything that I can see so I can see that he looks the same as before? And she said no, because he won't let me take photographs. So what am I to do, guys? Huh? What am I to do on that? It's not my fault, you know, if that's what they want to portray. They want to portray these things to make people believe anything. I'm not going to believe just anything. Sorry. And if you want to make me be the bad guy for this, then make me be the bad guy. You know? You know, I refuse to have people... What the hell? I refuse to have people, you know, just confuse me with bullcrap. when I know I got facts. Okay? Facts are easy to tell, guys. Valiant Thor is a hoax. Now, I know many people are going to lash back at me, but again, all you have to do is pay attention to what Howard Menger said and pay attention to what Frank Ernest Stranges said. Who are you going to believe? If Howard Menger was the host at his home, and I'm repeating it again, of course, as you guys can see, if he was the host at his home, okay, talking about these Venusians, pay attention. Why did he not talk about anyone by that name, Valiant Thor? Oh, they changed name, right? That's what you guys going to tell me? Oh, they change name from time to time. They just, they pick random human names. Okay. They pick random human names, right? Okay, then why is it then, if they pick random human names, why did he say that his wife's called is Dina Thor? Why did he say that his daughter's called Valdina Thor? And it's so coincidence that his brother's name is Don Thor too, right? And then, like I told you guys, there's an Italian province in Italy where it's called Valdina. Now, see, that's the thing that you guys don't get. What a coincidence that Valiant Thor's daughter's name is Valdina. Oh, that's right. I think that he likes Italy, right? Yeah, that's what a lot of people might say. Maybe that's why Valiant Thor, chose Valdina, because he likes Italy. It just doesn't make sense, But, and then the other thing that he said, what? Frank says that, see, that's what I'm saying. You guys got to pay attention. Frank said that these Venusians lived in the interior of Venus. Now, of course, a lot of you know that Venus has gases and all this stuff and all this whatever, okay? But for me, this is my opinion on this matter when it comes to Venus and the gases and all that crazy shit. It doesn't fucking matter. Because if you are an advanced race, don't you think that these people already had something prepared for all that shit? But yet, you're going to place limits on them by trying to say, oh, well, these people were living in the interior because they couldn't live on the surface. Really, bro? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really telling me that this advanced race of humans can't be on the surface of Venus in terms of like a dome or anything, right? I think Howard Menger made more sense because he's saying that he saw dome-shaped domes when he went there to Venus. Of course, I don't believe him either because I believe he told a host. But, I mean, his story made more sense. I mean, if you say that the Venusians lived on the surface in domes, yes, right? Because this is an advanced race. We can't say that they were a weak race and not prepared for all that. They would have probably studied the universe and the planets and everything by now. So for him to be like, oh, well, they live in the interior, okay? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You just got to decide, people, Because if we're talking about a supreme race of beings in the universe, okay? It should tell you a lot, man. And you know what I find funny also? Is that once again, it seems like Frank also adapted or borrowed, should I say. He borrowed from the other stories because you don't hear him talk about any grays. That's right, you heard me. You heard me. Because the Venusians that he met were human, right? But you would think he asked Valiant Thor, hey, can you tell me how many races there are of, like advanced beings out there? Stuff like that. But that's not something he was concerned about. He said he spent 30 minutes asking him questions. Okay? There goes that little magic number 3 again. Okay? And clearly, it just didn't make sense to me because you have a friend that is a Venusian, an advanced civilization, and then here comes the day of November 17, 2008, excuse me, and you would think that Valiant Thor would be able to help him, right? Revive him or prolong his life. But then his wife said, it was almost like his wife was telling me that the doctors killed Frank or someone killed Frank. You know what I mean? But yet, yeah, you conspiracy theorist people are going to come out and say, oh, well, yeah, I believe that he got killed, because of Valiant Thor and all this stuff. And please, okay? I don't believe that shit either. It's plain and simple, just like I told you guys. And I apologize if you guys think that I'm just being an ass here. I'm not. I'm just trying to direct you guys to something that makes a lot more sense. Like I told you, if it was me, I would present it a whole different way than these people did. I'm not going to go showing around sketches and shit like that. I'm not going to go around showing you old pictures from the 1940s and 30s. Come on, man, really? I'm going to try to prove to you that these people don't age like I've been saying that they don't age. So I would show you modern time pictures so you guys can see. And look at it and be like, oh shit, these guys are real. Not only that, I would ask you to come. I would invite all to come. Free of charge. I don't charge you nothing. What for? Everyone to come and I would show them the Venusians, right? If it was real. But, not everyone thinks like me. Because obviously we are all different and we all have different minds and I understand that. But remember, there's a difference between being stupid and being smart. And stupid I'm not. Okay? Stupid I'm not. I was just trying to make a big example out of a story that I know is a hoax. Studying it for over 5 years. That's enough that I got. And I decided, oh, well, let me throw it on YouTube since everyone goes to YouTube anyways. So why not me? And that's why I did it, because I figured, why not? Let me put this out. And yeah, I know it's, again, before I even got on this, I was already, talking about this subject and everything. But again, I decided this is a social media type of thing. So I figured, why not? I'm going to do it. Boop. Throw it on here. And let you guys know what I feel, what I seen, what I investigated into this thing. But again, if you think that I'm full of shit, all you got to do is tell me that. Right? But then when you got two men contradicting each other, yet Howard Menger is the host of his own conference, you mean to tell me that Frank is the one telling the truth and not Howard? Think about that, guys. Think about that. Because if you're going to tell me that you believe Frank over Howard Menger, if he was the host of his own conference, then clearly, like I said in my other videos, there is something wrong with you guys out there. Because that means you're in complete denial of the fact that Frank created this story because he wanted the attention that all these guys before him had. George Adamski, of course, the most famous one, right? George Van Tassel. Who can forget him? Giant Rock. Howard Menger, of course. Very well recognized. Those are the main guys that were really, really, well known. And of course, Frank wanted to be thrown in there like now, with this fucking shitty ass story of Valiant Thor. But no, you guys want to be out there and get mad at me and pretend that, that I'm not telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. You guys know. And if you guys don't understand, it's clear as day, guys. I'm showing you the photographs. You see the photographs I showed you. If you don't believe that's him, that's fine. Look it up yourself. All right? Like I said, you can look it up yourself, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not getting money for this shit. Doesn't matter. I don't care about it. This information I'm giving you is free. The fuck? Is it that hard for you guys to just go out there and look at all the information there is on this guy? That be Frank Ernest Stranges, that is. Like I said, it just didn't make sense to me after a while when I saw that an old man is walking around showing a picture of a young man who, was in his era, of course, because he, like I said, again and again and again, he was born in 1927. So that was his era in the 50s. 60s, 70s, 80s, He lived those eras. I didn't, unfortunately, because I was born in 74. So, of course, I didn't get a chance to go to Howard Menger's home or anything like that because I was just a baby. I didn't even exist. Before the year 74, I didn't exist. I'm 43 years old now, but maybe if I was born in that era, maybe I would have understood more. Maybe I would have known a lot more. But I feel that today, in 2017, I feel that I know enough that I debunk this story. And I don't care if people out there don't believe me or you can't really confirm or deny. It's plain as day, guys. Plain as day. It's just like I said, you guys are refusing to accept the fact because you're putting Frank over Howard Menger's claims. That's what you guys are doing. Okay, you're putting more faith into Frank's book and what Frank said. But yet Frank supposedly was not at Howard Menger's home. So how would he know, right? How would he know? So you got Howard Menger talking about these Venusians. It's against the universal law to come to Earth and help us. And you got this other guy talking about that they can. So I guess Valiant Thor is so special that he can just do away with the laws of the universe. Or maybe he created the laws of the universe, right? And he was able to come down here when he wanted, because he says so, and demand that he helps humanity. Like Prometheus did, right? The Greek mythology, the Prometheus. It's just sad. It's just saddening and troubling. And, I just feel that I do this for you guys. I did do this for me at first because, of course, it took me all this time to gather all this stuff that I have. But now that we have the means to communicate in these ways, I figured it was time for me to destroy this story because, of course, it's not real. And it's not only this story, guys, okay? So the only reason I directed my attention to this one only, there's others that I know, okay? I can keep going with names, but I don't really want to get into it, really. Because, again, we can see a whole bunch of stories, okay? Like I said, there's some cases that can't be explained. This one is clear as day, okay? That's Frank Ernest Stranges at Howard Menger's home. But it's fine with me if you guys don't want to believe, okay? Simply because you have to realize that he's not looking straight into the camera, okay? And of course you can't really, in this picture that we're looking at right now, of course I got the still picture now. Well, again, I'm not a professional, with the camera or anything, so I apologize for that, guys. I'm new to YouTube, basically. I'm just used to watching videos and boxing stuff, and, but I figured why not do something that no one really have done? Because I have never seen anyone talk about Valiant Thor, like in the way I have, of course. When we're talking about investigating the story for what it is. Look, guys, just match the description. Compare Howard and Frank. Compare to the things that they say. Watch YouTube. YouTube is the source of a lot of things, guys. So when you hear Howard Menger on YouTube, right, and you hear how Frank Ernest Stranges on YouTube, and of course the information outside of YouTube, you would realize that these two men, okay, although they knew each other, they just didn't support each other in terms of the storylines, okay? So that's just what I believe on that. I don't believe that Howard, was on his side about Valiant Thor or any of that, because if he did, he would have confirmed, like I said, he would have confirmed it, and Augie-Roberts would have confirmed it before his death in 1994. He would have confirmed that Valiant Thor was real, and that he met him himself, and he seen him, playing his day. He took his photograph, and he saw no fingerprints, Till then, all we got is Frank Strange's account that all that took place. But then again, you guys can believe it if you want. I just find it funny that the main two guys that supposedly know Valiant Thor, Augie-Roberts and Howard Menger, didn't speak about him. Oh, you guys decide. You guys decide. Well, I'm going to close this video, and I hope that you guys can comment whatever you like. You can like the video, you can hate the video, you can tell me I'm full of shit. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I just want to hear you guys' opinions, okay? Because opinions do matter, and I understand that even if there's a lot of people that disagree with me, that's fine, because it's not something that it's new to me, like I said before. You know, this is something that I'm already familiar with. I'm not going to stop believing about this story being a hoax, simply because of the information that I have, the proof that I have, the document I have, that shows this is a hoax. But if you guys don't believe, that's fine. That's your choice. That is your free will. You can continue on doing what you're doing. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is to take this story down because it's not real. Now, again, if you guys heard in my other videos when I said, I don't mind if they come out and say this story is fiction. Okay? Because that's all it was. It's a bunch of fiction. I don't care if they say it's fiction. But to come out and say this is based on a true story, that's a bunch of bullshit, okay? You guys just got to pay attention, man, because, you know, we do have crude people in this world, all right? You got crude people, man, really. You know, they claim they're good people, but they always have bad intentions. You know, so, and just like the Bible said, right? You got wolves in sheep's clothing. That's clear as day when they say that, right, in the Bible? For those of you that believe in the Bible, or just in the phrase itself, the message. You know, it's sad, man. Just because you walk around in a suit and you speak, you know, eloquently, you know, and you entertain the crowd and you make them laugh, and then you start throwing these little stories out there so they can believe you. But yet, you're a good man, right? No, you'll just keep telling the crowds that you're a good man. But yet, you can sleep at night knowing that you have lied to hundreds, even thousands of people, millions of people. And all you keep thinking about is your pockets. That's all these people out there think about. The day I see somebody present a story like this, and they have enough solid evidence, that's the day that I would be like, yeah, this guy is, or this woman is telling the truth. Till then, I would continue to do what I can to inform the people that be us of these con artists out there that only seek to take your money, my money, and anyone's money just to put in their pockets, in their bank accounts, and they make a living off of us, basically. So all I'm saying is pay attention, guys, all right? And again, you want to criticize me, it's fine. It's not the first time. It's not the last time. Because I'm going to continue with this story. And, you know, I'm waiting to even hear from Craig Campobasso, because he's the one that never met Valiant Thor. You know, because even though that he met Frank in 2001, he wasn't introduced to Valiant Thor. That just doesn't make sense to me either, because, you know, if Frank Ernest Stranges has been your friend since 2001, you would think he introduces you to this Venusian friend of his, right? So he doesn't show you, but yet he shows his inner circle members Valiant Thor. Supposedly. That's what he said, though. But don't get mad at me, though, because, you know, I'm just telling you what he said. And then, you know, when I showed you guys these documented proof, basically, that, of course, you might not believe me because, you know, you just think that I hate the man. I don't hate him. When he was selling these diplomas, okay? Selling diplomas for $25 without a license. Come on, man. You're playing games with people. I think that's not right, okay? That's not right. Even when he got caught with marijuana. Oh, but of course he was going to deny that it wasn't his. So you're talking about a small plane, you and your friend, you both go to jail $25,000 bail, but it's not your stuff. Or you wouldn't have known that that's in the plane? That doesn't make sense. But, anything's possible. All I can say, examine the facts, guys. Pay attention between what Howard Menger says. Pay attention to what Frank Ernest Stranges says. And you guys can see that neither one are with each other. Like, they say different things. And if you believe that this story is true, again, listen. Howard Menger is the host. So that would make him more the official person that you would believe, because that was his conference, not Frank Ernest Stranges' conference. But, according to Frank, he lived in Irvington, New Jersey, but he didn't attend this stuff, right? And that's why I keep pointing him out, because I'm showing you guys that that's him sitting down writing notes. And then I showed you a picture of him that matches the same guy that's sitting down writing notes, which is the guy in the North Central Bible Institute. That changed many names many times. And those were his members. I could call them Venusians too, right? Because that was a long time ago. But then people are going to get upset at me. That's fine. That's fine. Well, I did say I'm going to close this video. I'm just going to let it go all the way to what it ends on its own. I'm still learning this YouTube thing. Once I get a hold of it, maybe I can do better videos, As you guys can see, I'm not moving it around anymore. I managed to just keep it still this time. I know you guys are like, finally, asshole. But that's fine. But anyways, again, if you want to start investigating this story yourselves, all you got to do is start there. Start by listening to Howard Menger's videos on YouTube. Then, start by listening to Frank Ernest Stranges' videos on YouTube. Now you notice the two say different things about these Venusians. But don't take my word for it though, right? Then you would notice that Howard Menger has the drone that I'm talking about, UFO drone, right there next to him as he's talking. So, again, if you guys don't want to take the word from the man who was the host of his conference, then again, I just think that you guys out there are blinded because Frank can do no wrong in your eyes. Just like in many people's eyes, Howard Menger couldn't do no wrong either. Like I said, he had his own hoax that he needed to promote and hold on to. And of course, he have help by Gray Barker and Augie-Roberts, But you guys don't have to believe me, though, You don't have to believe me. Again, you guys probably like, yeah, this guy's full of shit and whatever. But that's fine with me. So it's okay. At the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm going to be me, regardless. As you guys can see, I'm still uploading the first video. And then this is the second one coming up. And again, I just feel that it makes more sense if you pay attention to all these videos of Howard Menger and Frank Ernest Stranges. Because I just don't think that you guys could put Frank's words over Howard's if you believe that this story is real, right? There's no way that you're going to believe that Frank's telling the truth over Howard Menger, who's the host. And I know I already repeated it probably like 3 or 4 times already. I just want to make sure you guys can clearly understand what I'm saying. Because I am speaking plain English. Even though that the Messiah, Yahashua, or Jesus, right, spoke in parables, right? I don't speak symbolism. I'm speaking directly. So you guys can understand me correctly. All right? So that's what I'm going to say with that. And you guys can continue to say I'm wrong. I can't really prove anything. You can dislike my video. It's fine. But again, I know that I debunked this story and people just not accepting it right now. And that's fine with me because I know that I did debunk this story once and for all. And I wasn't going to keep making these videos. But again, because I was just like, I know that this is not real. And I wanted people to know that it ain't real. So I'm going to keep